Bitcoin might be range bound and might be looking for liquidity in lower areas. So we need to unpack this. Do we really need to short? What is my thoughts on the short theory and what needs to happen around shorts? And then obviously, we've got a hell of a lot of alts. Ethereum smashed its TP, Matic smashed TP, and Bitcoin Cash has been not performing at all. So what the hell are we going to do with these? And a lot more. And then obviously there's a few new coins that I want to share with you guys. So if you're new to the channel, hit the like, hit the subscribe. Let me know in the comment section, even if you're not watching in live. I do reply to each and every one of you guys. And for those OGs, Happy New Year, my friends. Do your hodl bags a favor and subscribe today. Double down, hit that like and notification icon, and let's get charting. So Bitcoin on the weekly time frame runs with a bit of frustrations for me personally. As the saying goes, buy the rumor, sell the event. Understand that pre-bull market, this is typically how it works. We need to trap liquidity at the highs so that we can position ourselves in the low. That is basically essence of what a distribution and an accumulation pattern is, speaking Wyckoff terms. We want people to buy the top. We want to distribute our tokens, and we want to accumulate when they sell after fear has set in. So buy the rumor means we're marketing an event that's going to make you a hell of a lot of money. So what does happen? It starts trending. You tell your friend friend tells you, his friend, and that's how the news works. But it's got a delay, that word of mouth. It means everybody's buying in a less optimal zone. And at some stage, the fact that price just doesn't want to move and everybody is bullish and everybody that you know and everybody I know is already in the market, it raises the question. We're at the point of the event, and the fact that Bitcoin is setting up some bearish signals for us is almost like a precursor. Should there be any bad news regarding the event, meaning the spot BTC ETF approval, the market is already ready to short, to dump. So if we want to be proactive, and we also want to be responsible in keeping with our hodl bags, it means that we need to take the shit seriously. We've got a week ahead of ourselves before we even need to worry about that. And within that week, a lot of good alts and a lot of pump can still happen in the market. So it's time to try and capitalize on that still. And what if we're wrong? What if the spot ETF approval creates an insane demand, and I'm wrong and you're wrong and everybody else is wrong and everybody hasn't bought yet and they're only waiting for the ETF to buy? That means that at that stage, big demand will enter a market that has little to no supply because everybody that's currently active has bought. So there's no real supply sitting in the market wanting to go out. So the contrarian view means that I can almost bullshit any scenario and give you a reason why it can fail and give you a reason why what I think can fail again, which means trading, and as I say this always, is a big bag of contradictions. But it's in the details that we find these little areas where the high probability setups happen. And for those who have been following us for a long time knows what I'm talking about. This little dump that we had created our first pivot. So now our weekly time frame has the potential, it's not there at the moment, but has the potential to start giving us our strong bearish divergence. And if we don't break this hidden bearish divergence, the next plausible target for BTC, and the reason why we're taking profit now means that when it's get there, we're going to buy the shit out of that low and smile because we've made good gains. Token metrics, guys, compliments token metrics. We've been looking at some alts. They've been bringing some of the alts to my attention that I've been sharing with you guys. But for the first time since October 2023, their algorithm is flashing bearish signals. So from their point of view, their analytics system is also picking up the fact that Bitcoin is currently, and the market is very overextended to a point, and that there is a correction imminent. So there's two confluences now pointing to the fact that celebrate the highs, but celebrate by taking some profit, guys. Now, from the bull bear grade, yes, it's still bullish, which means you can still trade. If you don't have your targets hit just yet, hold on to your targets because they can still realize. Really, that's truly the case. And the fact that the alt meter is dipping right back out of the alt season zone is telling you that people are taking profit on the alts. And the recent flush when BTC went from 44, 45K to 40K in a second, basically that got, the alts got punished much harder than what Bitcoin did. So the reality is when we're going to buy the discount, and the great deals will potentially be on the alt side. So let's get over to the altcoins. Send in your comments, send in your questions, and even for those that are not tuning in live, send in your comments and questions. I will use the community tab within the YouTube to actually respond to any questions or any charts that you might need to, or you're requesting. So let's start off with Ethereum real quick. So we were looking at ETH, and I gave you guys last year, I gave you this sell target, and it's off the back that we had strong bearish divergence. So now the big thing is, and this is the contradiction to what with Bitcoin is, when we look at break of structure, you've got a high, you've got a low, you've got a higher high, you've got a higher low, and now you've made a higher high again with bearish divergence, and you've sold, you broke the trend, so now you broke the structure, and you've got a lower low. This then means if you haven't taken the short, Ethereum is setting up for a sell between the last two highs. So price will try and migrate between 2,400 and 2,450 potentially for continuation, up higher. But now what is it doing? It's got yet another bearish divergence, because within this local high, set of highs, and this new move, we've got now wave within wave divergence. So this is, well, the best way to explain this, to try and visually guide you what I say by that is, if you look at a normal 5-wave Elliott wave structure, this is typically how things would go up: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Okay. When we reach 3 to 4, this is normally a complex set of waves, meaning the market tends to stay a long time. But your 3 and 4 will also have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in there. So what happens between these 2 points, let's just change the color, what happens between these 2 points, and then what happens within this pattern does give you all the top signals, but then it fails, which teaches people bad habits. But what I'm seeing now is that now we have within this structure and that structure as well divergence, which lines up to the fact that now we could potentially set up for a bigger correction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, before we really now start going and turning this 5 into a 1, a macro 1. Let's change the color of that again. Let's say make it, can't go green again. Maybe I need to go pink. Macro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bull market, where's the top going to be? It's going to be amazing. So that just gives you a little bit of picture. So remember the context of all these things when we look at them. Okay. Now let's have a look at Link. So Link had a long accumulation period. And when we look at Link now, it's done exactly the same. It's made a lower low, and it has been range bound for a while now. So if we do not reclaim our highs and reclaim our momentum, this is as good as it's going to get for now. And you have to think of it in the same way as I've just explained to you guys. Now, this is the important thing. Remember a while ago when I explained Bitcoin Cash to you guys, I taught you guys a nifty little trick. And the trick was as follows, okay? When price creates wicks like these, okay? Crazy wick like that. And price immediately stays above the wick. So what do you need to do? You need to be patient. You wait for the day that the wick happens, okay? And then you have to wait for the next day and potentially even the day thereafter. If price keeps on trading above it, what is your buy zone? Your buy zone is 50% of that wick for the higher high. There's the buy, and you look for the higher high, which is what we got. But I also taught you guys that some of these wicks, sometimes there's a saying, wicks like those tend to get filled. Now, how these wicks normally look is very much the same, but the problem is after the wick gets created, price trends in that direction immediately. Okay, so let's get an example of that real quick. Of wicks like those tend to get filled. There's a really good example. Okay, so we have a crazy wick down again, same as that one, but the days leading up after the wick, price is actually trading below the closure of that shakeout event. And that means we do not want to try and buy the 50% of the wick, because ultimately what that does is it tells us that if this is the case, wicks like those tend to get filled, and then we're going to want to go make a lower low. So to rest my case, to get back to the point that I was saying, we have a job to do, guys, from a macro point of view with all these alts and with all our bags. Today is still an uncertainty, okay, within trading, because we've got 11 hours before that candle closes. And if that candle closes as it is at the moment, the argument is that there's strength within Chainlink and we can hunt for a long, say, at $13. But if that candle closes in this range below the closing price, the argument is that Chainlink will potentially go lower, and that means we need to go to the last area that we had a real big move. And I would say this would be the area. So 50% of the candle that made the higher high, which means now instead of looking for a $13 link, you're going to be looking for a $9 link. If price stays above this area, that becomes a really strong demand zone, and that becomes a really good buy zone for you guys. So you're looking at around 41 cents for Phantom, and then you can trade that back to about 50 cents, which means if you take that run, it's a good 16 to 20% spot trade right on its way for you guys. Okay, so let's look at Celestia. Now, what did I say with Celestia for you guys a while ago? I explained to you guys that it's still very new. We don't have a lot of data on this, but what we do have is the fact that when we look at this set of waves, we have a scenario that when you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I'm just going to mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you have a scenario that between 4 and 2, if the RSI makes a lower low, that tells you you've got hidden bullish divergence and price wants to go higher. Okay, and the fact that the RSI is trending down and this has not made lower lows just yet tells us that we're in this kind of a condition, and that this breakout that's currently flying up is potentially setting us up for that 5. So you're celebrating your Celestia. Understand though that after something like this, after a move like this, the 5 can be crazy. I mean, this can go to $30 before it really drops. But after that, there is going to be a prolonged bit of a correction. It's just the nature of the market. So celebrate the fact that it's high, but celebrate by banking some profit with Celestia. Bonk is now in that buy zone. Okay. Now, why is that a buy zone? Why is that relevant? Well, I want to see that hidden bullish divergence, guys. It's there. So bonk is a buy. So simple as that. If you want to get in on a meme, Stanco, you say meme, please. I know you're talking about probably something else, but here's something for you to definitely get a buy-in. There's bonk, okay? Wait for the daily. If it closes above that wick price, this thing is good to go, and it's going to do what? It's going to want to try and make a higher high. Potentially, it will fail within this wick. Who's to say? Or it can even go and make yet another higher high. So you have to have that anything is possible kind of vibe. And I like the fact that it's smack in the middle there with that demand zone. And I will buy this on spot, nothing other than that. So it's a spot buy. Why? Because this thing is like a leverage coin without the leverage. It's going to, in any case, give you a lot of good gains going forward. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'm going to leave you guys with that. And the reality is, if we look at this from a macro point of view, and I'm just going to, macro point of view, this is Bitcoin big picture, guys. Big picture, okay? We're potentially setting up in an environment that's like this. Who's to say how long this is going to be like this? Okay, that's it. That's all I'm saying. And in that time period, your Phantom might pop, your Sui might still pop. I've so many people, as soon as I sell my Sui, Phantom goes. As soon as I sell my Sui to Phantom, Sui goes. You know, that type of bullshit. So just play both sides. Okay, guys, I'm going to say thanks. I've been rambling on for way more than I should. To each and every one of you guys, Leo, thanks so much for taking the time. Share the content with your friends. Please do me that solid. Leave me comments if you want to. Head over to the Discord, please. And see you tomorrow. And as always, trade safe, guys. Goodbye.